Good evening, guys. How are we? Welcome to this delivery flight for Fly-by-Wire, testing out a new bandit mask delivery. As you can see, we've got that close up.
Welcome to this
Oh, hang on.
for Fly-by-Wire.
I appear to have got an echo. That's annoying. Let me just get rid of that. There we go. Oh, good. You don't want to hear me twice. That's the last thing you want to hear. So, the bandit mask is, as you can see there, it's basically just gives the... it is exactly as it sounds like, isn't it? But we've got to test new liveries because we know from experience that liveries tend to interfere a little bit in flights in 2020 with the fly-by-wire dev version, even the standard default version. So we've got to give it a run, and we thought we'd do this almost as a delivery flight. So going from one of the factories, Airbus factories in Toulouse, up to Hamburg-Fergenwinkel, which is where they sign off on new aircraft and deliver them to the airlines. So let's quickly jump on board. As it is a test flight, there are no passengers. We are not on VATSIM. We are not using live time. We are using live weather though, because that just helps with general getting ATIS and METARs and all that sort of stuff. So we need to make sure that everything works as it should. So welcome to everyone, and hope you'll join me for this. It's a 2-hour flight, so we need to get cracking. And obviously, if we don't have the VATSIM or anything like that, there's no delays in takeoff. We can just roll across the runway 32 left, I believe it is. Yeah, 32 left. And the flight plan, so you've got a copy of that, is just there. So anyone that's just joining, this new update is literally a new livery, the bandit mask livery. And once again, we'll just show you that. Which needs to be tested to make sure that nothing terrible goes wrong. So this is the latest dev version, just with the bandit mask livery attached. The bandit mask livery is not yet available for public download. So I just need to make that very clear. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. Set these batteries on and get the external power connected as well. Start doing the flows, navigation lights. Turn the seatbelt signs on, even though we don't have any, but we need to make sure, of course, that everything loads just as we would be doing on a normal flight. Hello Lewis, hello HD, hello Farhan, hello Aviation Simulation. Captain Viv, yep, the cockpit outline, the bandit mask, Scandinavian 941. Can I call you Scandi 941? That's how I remember I used to hear that call sign. Now, I'm not going to turn the APU on just yet. Reason for that is here at Toulouse, you've got a maximum time of running the APU of 10 minutes. I believe that's due to noise abatement. So we'll leave that for now. But we've got ground power, so that's the main thing. Let's get all the screens turned up, etc, etc, so we can see what's what. I don't know why I'm turning the first officer's displays up. I'm going to turn those off in a minute. Okay, so the ideas are being aligned. Oh, HD, you're joking. Overcast 200 at Hamburg. Well, it will please you to know that we've got 4 alternates. So there we are, at least we have that. Magic Gnome, you've noticed that you activate the fuel pumps before loading fuel. Yeah, what would be really good is if at some point the simulator starts to mimic the actual fuel loading of it being pumped in. So you get, what is it, about a ton a minute, something like that. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? So I'm just checking actually that all the lights are extinguished, and that. Can we do a copy voice recorder test? Does that work? Nah, no, it doesn't. Oh well, never mind. So with that, let's head down to the McDo and start popping some things in. HD, no, I didn't check the weather. Don't start already. The great thing about this test flight is if I don't like it, I can just change the weather. Okay. Let's get all this loaded in. There we go, 2 hours. And let's block fuel is 7657. Taxi and trip is accurate. Let's load. And then performance, weight and balance. As you can see, we've no passengers, but we are going to take some cargo. So while we're going then, might as well do that. Payload 2020. Ooh, that's quite heavy. 20 tons, 20.2 tons. Get that loaded in as well. Did I load that in? I pressed the wrong button then, didn't I? Try that again. There we go, so that's loaded. So 68.7 tons. 68.7 tons. And actually tells us our takeoff weight's about 68.7 tons. So that's slightly out by about 43. It's 0 packs HD. I've just loaded some cargo just for good measure. Do you know what? Let me just get rid of the chat off the screen. I forgot that was there. That might be interfering with your viewing pleasure. Get rid of that. Pop that back on in the cruise maybe. So there we go. No passengers, but we do have some cargo. Why not? 0 fuel weight. Is that correct? 61.2. That is bang on. Wonderful. Oh, Captain Viv, was that you? I'll slap your hands. We'll keep the Discord clear of stuff like that. You're on a yellow card, mate, but I'm sure you'll redeem yourself. Okay, so all is looking good, and we're loaded. Init request, let's pull that in. Cost index 56, cruise temperature 360, minus 51. We've got minus 52 on the OFP. That's right, HD. Aircraft parts. Why bother just flying an empty aircraft? They might as well carry some bits with them as they go. Not in database, probably referring to the alternate as I've spoke about before, so let's just key that in. Echo Delta Delta Papa. There we go. So the flight plan uplink is completed. Let's go to our flight plan and get that set up. As I say, we've got no ATC today, so we're pretty much free to do as we need to, which in this case is taking off runway 32 left via the Gay 5 Bravo departure. There it is. And insert. Now there are no stars at Hamburg, Fink World. Do you know what's it called? Fink something or other, isn't it? Finkenwerder. There we go. I'm not even going to pretend that's the correct pronunciation. So what we actually do here, so if we pop in the arrival runway, which is going to be ILS 23, we've got no star. It's telling us to come in there via Bogmu. Not all. Can we go no vias, or do we have other? Ah, there we go. We actually want to go via Hamburg. The Hamburg VOR. That's what I was after. Insert that. And then, actually, what we should do after Hamburg, we should have a. We should go via the Tam-Ab waypoint, but we'll basically fly that and insert the ILS before we get there. Actually, so that's absolutely fine. Okay, so that's fully loaded. That is great. Let's go to our init B page then and get all these weights set up for the fuel plan. 0 fuel weight was spot on today, so 61.2 tons, 61.2, and 0 fuel weight center of gravity. Whoops, try again. 0 fuel weight center of gravity is there. Our fuel planning gives us 6.6. We're taking 7.6, so an extra ton on top of that. I'm actually as well just trialing this we went for a performance fuel factor of -7. I have been doing -10, so I've just lowered that a little bit just to see if we can start to bring that a little bit more aligned with how it burns here in Flight Sim 2020. Trip wind, slight tailwind of 5. And pop that in there. That probably won't adjust it too much. Good. So, Ferrin Gavin, one question. So, depending on the livery that you're using, can it eventually cause bugs on system malfunction of the A320 mod? Yes, it can. Some liveries, for some reason, we've found in the past, they do interfere with them, which is why, even though this is a very mundane test, it is just a livery. The aircraft is just the normal dev build with a new livery. We still have to test it. So that's the reason that we're doing what we're doing. Okie dokies. So we'll be using flaps 1. No anti-ice until. In fact, you know what? What is the weather like? No, we don't need anti-ice on for the takeoff. We should be fine for that. All right. So flex temp calculations. The weather here in Toulouse is, I'll just copy and paste this in for you. So this is the current weather in Toulouse, and our takeoff weight is about just over 68, about 68.7 tons, which means we'll take off runway 32 left. Calculate that, and we have a flex temp there of 67. Transition altitude here in Toulouse is got the wrong charts up. Let's have a look. So where are you? 5,000 feet. Hello Richard, thank you for joining. Okay, so let's get our V speeds calculated. V1, VR, V2. I'm now just going to break off from down here, although that all looks good. We'll check through the flight plan as well in a moment. Let's get that APU started, shall we? So we can't start the APU more than 10 minutes before we need to here at Toulouse. Paradox, what fuel factor should I use and what is it exactly? So basically SimBrief has a default setting for the A320 fuel. Of course we're flying the A320neo, slightly more fuel efficient, and of course a simulator issue as well, so it will over-calculate the amount of fuel that you actually require here in the simulator. I'm testing this at a performance factor of -7%, so it just loads less fuel. 7% less fuel to be exact. Our departure then is a standard instrument departure here at Toulouse. Gives us an initial climb to, do we have an initial climb on here? No, it doesn't, so that looks like we can just go straight up to our cruising altitude of 36,000 feet. So that's quite nice. So I don't have to worry about anything, no constraints to be wary of. And I said I was on live weather a bit ago, didn't I? What was the QNH 1017? Alright, so that's good. Let's have a quick skim through our flight plan, make sure it's all looking accurate. So, flight plan. So after departure we have a right hand turn, which takes us to our first waypoint. Autopilot will be on by this point, and our approach in Hamburg looks exactly as I expected it to. Over the Hamburg VOR, left turn, intercept the ILS. Beautiful. So, HD, you've got your initial climb of 7,000 feet. Airport briefing departures, which I do have. I've already got the noise abatement stuff on there. The auxiliary power unit. Noise abatement procedures. Yep, nighttime restrictions. Anything else? Low visibility procedures. We don't need those. Taxi procedures. They all look pretty standard. There we go. Yeah, so HD, if you want to be checking that for me, that would be lovely. Otherwise, we can get going. Let's turn on the APU bleed. With no passengers, we can set that to low. We'll keep the cargo warm. Chris, personally, I found no issues with the stable build. I think it works absolutely beautifully. The dev build's always got new things being added to it all the time. However, they're not classed as stable, so some things may sneak through and cause issues. Not often though, because we do test them, which is exactly what we're doing right now. Okay, so preliminary cockpit checklist. Engine master's normal, engine motor selector normal, so engine master's off rather. Weather radar off, landing gear is down, both wipers are off. We should have done an APU fire test actually if we were running this properly. Cockpit lights as required, they're all nice and set. ECAM recall, check we've not missed anything. Oxygen is on, and oil quantity, flaps, speed brakes, AccuBrake pressure, QRH, we don't have one of those. Okay, so we've done as much as we can do with the let's do the before start checklist. So cockpit preparation is complete, signs are on and auto, the ideas are now aligned, fuel quantity is set and balanced, flight management guidance system is all set, the altimeters are set and cross-checked, windows and doors should all be closed of course, rotating beacon light is on, mobile phone is off, and parking brake is on. Okay, let's begin. Starting engine 1. Thank you HD, bottom right, middle text. Oh, there we are. Climb up to 7,000 feet for ATC purposes, so we can set that 7,000 feet, but obviously we've got no ATC online, we'll just be running straight through. I'm going to turn off the first officer displays now, keep those frame rates happy. So Paradox, this is neither. This is the dev version with a fancy livery that we're just testing. Alright, so engine 1 is now available. We won't do a single engine taxi just because we're literally crossing runway 32 right, which is just there, 32 left straight after it. If anyone is having problems with the fly-by-wire mod, two things I recommend. Number one, make sure some dead zones are set. 20% is usually good. And then make sure, just do a test flight with no liveries or mods, particularly mods for other aircraft. Clear your community folder out and see if that helps. as there have been known to be conflictions. Kai, am I pronouncing that right? Anyone else having trouble with the most recent dev build, like having trouble to catch the glide slope properly? It almost always goes underneath it after catching it properly. Many of my approaches fail. We shall have a look. Theo974, of course you may. So the livery is literally the bandit mask around the front, which to me makes it look more like a Dreamliner than an A320. Okay, so let's get moving. Taxi lights on. Cockpit door is closed. After start checklist, anti-ice is not needed. Ecam status, it's all good. And I am going to just double check now what our centre of gravity is. 29.6, down 2 as we set the pitch trim. Wrong way. There we go. And rudder trim set to 0. Okay. Engine mode selector to norm. APU can come off. External power's on, we can get rid of that. Let's head towards the runway, shall we? Parking brake released. HD, I'm going to send you a photo later, mate. You'll appreciate it. What I didn't do, of course, was get the weather for the airfield, but we've got that here in the... we don't need to pop that into the flight computer. We know our QNH is correct. That's the main thing for takeoff. Okay, so let's see how she's looking on the outside. There we go. What do we think, guys? Do we like it? Crossing runway 32 right. Does look almost like a Dreamliner from the front, doesn't it, when they add that mask to it? Pedro, hello from Portugal. Great to see you. Thank you for joining. Can I do a tutorial on how to alter the flight plan, the airport, and when to activate it? Unfortunately, the secondary flight plan page isn't yet active. It's coming though, because the things are... in fact, if I just quickly show you this, secondary flight plan, if we go down to it, you can see it's all greyed out at the minute, but it is coming. So maybe when that's available. Okay, so let me just do the before takeoff checklist. Flight controls: full left, full right, full up, full down, neutral, and full rudder right and left. Briefing for this pretty straightforward. Straight out climb and then a right hand turn, initial climb 7,000 feet. You would of course do a full briefing on what happens if we have an engine failure, what happens when we pass V1, etc., etc. So, flaps 1, ground spoilers armed, ding the imaginary cabin. Transponder is set, and TCAST TARA, weather radar, wind shear, and max auto brakes, TO config. Cabin is secured, engine mode selector is required, TCAS is on, packs are off, anti-ice is off. Let's roll. So it's actually quite a long flight, this one. When I say a long flight, I mean for me. I'll be on the microphone throughout this. Digital flight deck, quite right. Without the cabin crew, who will get the captain his tea? I'm going to have to go and get it myself, although to be honest, a bottle of Budweiser would be better after the day I've had. No streaming during the day today. I've been homeschooling, and I don't mean myself. Although, I swear our local supermarket's going to run out of alcohol thanks to the amount of parents that are having to do homeschooling. Alright, final checks. All's looking good for this. So we'll do what we did the other day actually. Parking brake set. And spool up to 50% N1. Which is a little difficult to get right the way these my thrust levers work, but there we go. So let's start the chrono, release the parking brakes, and away we go. So band flex, SRS and runway. $80 knots. Side stick to neutral. 100 knots. V1, rotate. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. Turn that primary flight display up a little bit. And climb thrust to be set in a moment. There we go. Climb thrust. Lower the nose slightly. Can we hold that attitude there? Packs can now go back on. And we have the right hand turn coming up. There we are. So the aircraft now will accelerate to 250 knots. Once we've passed S speed, bring the slats back in. Once the slats are in, ground spoilers can also be disarmed. There's S speed, so flaps 0. Ground spoilers disarmed. And in a moment we can engage autopilot. Set standard pressure. There we go. So autopilot now going on. And we can also continue our climb out to flight level 350. Right, so now the autopilot's on, guys, I can pay a bit more attention to the chat. Do you know what we didn't do? We didn't set lights for takeoffs. Oh, let me go and get you a ruler, HD. I'm going to pop the strobes on, but leave the others off. So Organizer 92, the CJ4, I believe, is one of the mods that actually interferes with the fly-by-wire mod. I don't know if it's that, or is there a mod for the longitude as well? Yeah, only have one aircraft in at a time. That would be my biggest advice. I don't fly anything other than the A320. Occasionally I'll take a Cessna out just for a bit of nostalgia, but yeah, I have heard reports, and the fly-by-wire guys have confirmed that as well. Okay, so we're passing 10,000 feet at this point. I would turn off the landing lights if I'd have been bothered to put them on to begin with. H&M, sadly not a pilot in real life. For those of you that are new to the stream, I failed the Class 1 UK medical several years ago, so sadly my passion for aviation has to be limited to the simulator. But thankfully I've got friends that just happen to be A320 pilots, so they pretty much got me up to scratch with the basics, and always looking to add more realism to the simulator world. That's what it's all about, or it is for me anyway. So during the climb we can release the cabin crew, which you would do just by dinging the seatbelt on and off. If of course it's safe to release passengers, if we had any passengers, we could actually turn that off as well. No electronic devices, that can also come off. So everyone can now turn their phones back on and their tablets, etc, etc. Okay, so barrel reference is already set standard, anti-ice as required, so just double check the temperature. It is starting to drop, we have got a bit of moisture in the air, so let's pop those on. Weather radar as required, and what that means at this point is usually altering the tilt of the weather radar. Seatbelts as required, so we've just turned those off. EFIS can now go on to the airport option. Nav aids, I'm not sure we can clear those. Secondary flight plan, we can't do anything with that at the moment. Make sure, see what we've got on the ECAM. And at this point then, let's see what our optimum maximum altitude is. So our optimum altitude would be flight level 385, and our maximum altitude is 388. So we could actually take her up a lot higher. Has anyone ever told me that I look like sound like Rod Stewart? I certainly don't look like him. I don't know. No, I don't think so. You don't want to hear me sing. Oh, you would have to tip me a lot of money to get me to sing, and that would be to buy the alcohol required to get me to sing. Christian, hi mate, what's new? What's the new thingy? The new thingy is, let's zip outside and have a look at the new thingy. The new thingy is the bandit mask livery, which actually, now we're in the air, does look kind of cool. Might even get a screenshot of that for the thumbnail afterwards. I'll go ask my wife how much I could tip. Oh well, you've doomed us all then if you're asking your wife. Was it laggy on the external cam there? Let me just check what the stream rate is. Oh no, the stream rate, we're streaming absolutely fine. So, do you know what actually? Let me just... I don't know if you've noticed this, anyone that does any streaming, if you're using OBS and you've got the preview enabled within OBS, it does cause issues, I believe. I think it's because it's rendering everything twice, and I got the preview enabled, so hopefully now you might just get a slightly more consistent stream. Was that 3 frames per second on external? Yeah, I've got external again. Let me know if this is any better, because this looks absolutely fine to me. But I'm sat here looking at it firsthand. Is this any better, having a look now? Is that better? Oh, yeah, it was. It was because the preview was enabled in the streaming software. So, the sim was rendering it twice. So there you go. Hopefully that's now zipping around freely. Which means we can have a nice good look at it. There you are. Oh, Ali's in the groove. Hello again. Always a pleasure to hear your advice. Take that with a pinch of salt. Yeah, organise. I discovered that the other day. I've got a preview, not a preview, but a sort of walkthrough review coming up, which I filmed a couple of days ago. No, actually, no, I filmed it about 2-3 weeks ago, and I had to redo it yesterday because when I came to look at the video to upload it, it was as buggy as hell, and I couldn't work out why. And then suddenly I realised that it must have had the OBS preview turned on all the way through. I thought, I can't upload this. It was appalling. No, Christian, the next livery should have a big mask over the front, I think. Crystal the Wolf, the sound is different than I remember. The sound has been changed a little bit, yes. Flightzilla, you've been having the same issue and you had no idea. No, neither did I until I had to redo something yesterday. And I was just playing around, turned off the preview, and whoa, there we go. It was all looking beautiful. Matthew, the flight deck looks like it's got wraparound shades on. That's literally what we're previewing, making sure that the aircraft flies as it should with this new livery. Organised, where am I from? I'm from Sheffield in the UK. Sheffield, England. Lots of hills. H&M, the estimated time en route is... well, ETA should be at the top of your screen. And the flight computer tells us... oh, do you know what? Ignore the flight computer because I'm not on real time. Ha! So estimated time en route for this flight was 1 hour 59 minutes. Is this what Rob does with all his money? No, he'd have a better computer. He'd also have VR and potentially a D-level simulator. Matthew, that's right, we don't just have the tram, we have the super tram. I remember them building that, that was a pain. Matrix, hey Easy, what do you use to overlay all the information on your streams? So the banner at the top is from Fly Live Studios. Hope that helps. Dingus Bingo, I can't do a barrel roll. The built-in protections will not let me. God bless Fly-by-Wire. William, how do you calculate the pitch trim for takeoff? Do you use the online calculator that lets you enter the... Yeah, that's the one, William. Just use that. Pat, am I getting the new Xbox? God, no. I could not fly an aircraft on an Xbox. Okay, so anti-ice can come off. We're well above the clouds now for our flight, so that's lovely. Christian, I got the pyramids. There were pyramids at Toulouse as we took off. I don't know if anyone noticed them. You'd have seen them just as I was holding short of the runway. They were there. Okay, so we are just passing 28,500 feet. If anyone has come in late, let me just give you the operational flight plan again. There you go. Darth Duck, you don't. It's not so much as activating alternate law as it is removing the removing normal law. HBin, thank you very much. Hope you like what you see. Any questions? Let me know. For those of you that are in the chat as well, as we've got plenty of time during this stream, if you fancy joining our Discord server, where the Easyjetsimpilot community has been built, then I can grab you a link to that. A personal invitation to all of you this evening. If you've got any questions, great place to go and ask them. If I'm not there to help, then the community is. So if anyone does want to join us, then here is the Discord link. There you go. The Buzz, do you know what will be in the UK map update coming the end of January? No, but I'm very, very excited to find out. I think a community flight of some description is in order for that one. Alienware 18, thank you for your support, thank you. Can you please mention what does the new update FlyByWire contain? Okay, so essentially this is the dev version, which any of you can download. I'll pop the link to that in a moment if you haven't got it already. The only difference, literally the only difference to this, is the mask at the front. You see that? That little wraparound mask. I don't know if it does anything aerodynamically or it makes the flight deck a little quieter, but quite a few airlines are implementing this now, so FlyByWire have just done a livery that works with it. But all liveries need testing because they are known to interfere with the systems. Darth Duck, is this simulated in the add-on? Yes, it certainly is. I did it was a long time ago, so some of the protections weren't all there. But when the sim first came out, I did do a normal low protections tutorial and also how to remove them. And yeah, they are simulated quite well. HBin, thank you for joining. Alienware, no problem at all. From Romania, hello. Where are we all watching from, guys? I like to know where we are watching from. Christian, I can tell you the manual is going very, very well. What do you think I have in front of me? So I think what we'll do with that is I'm going to spend the time offline in the simulator running through everything that HT has put together to make sure, basically see what we can simulate, what we can't simulate, what is in the pipeline to be simulated, just so if it needs to be, it can be tailored, or at least get an asterisk next to everything just to say it's not yet simulated. Things like auto land, for example, which we know aren't yet simulated. Oh, Alienware, I actually taught you to fly this thing. Oh. And how's that going? Hopefully it's going well for you. Tim in Southampton, not the Long Island one, unfortunately. Oh yeah, but it must be so easy to grab a cruise ship there where you are. Mind you, Long Island, you probably can there too. Okay, so reaching our cruise altitude, we can now, as we were shown, we can actually go to flight level 370 at this. So in order to do that, if we now change this, see this is, let's see if this is simulated. If we now change this flight level 370 There we go. And engage that. So we get the blue alt, which is fine. But then what we should get... Oh, it does... That's new. I've not seen that. New cruise altitude has popped up in the scratch pad of the McDo. That's exactly what it should do, but I've not seen that in the mod before. So now if we go back to our init, there we go. That's updated for us. Excellent. HD, don't worry about it being printed off, my friend. My line of work, I have got binders and paper aplenty. I'm sure I'm responsible for half the rainforest in the deforestation of it. But I recycle everything that I use, so that's fine. Christian, that's a great idea. Does it come with a free ruler? Thomas, can I explain the function of the knob above the AP knob, basically the heading track? Alright, so do you know what? I'm going to do a tutorial on this because this has recently now been made. I'm not going to press it. But this has now recently been made functional, and it comes into its own doing RNAV approaches. So there's two ways to do an RNAV approach. You can use the flight path angle, or you can use the approach mode. So I think that's worthy of a tutorial all on its own. Easyjetsimpilot. Why would I be flying Lufthansa? Does my name not give it away? You know me better than that. And I'm not on VATSIM anyway. So this is a complete... there's only me in the sky. Actually, that's not true. I have popped on live traffic for this. I don't know if you can see any anymore on the VFR map. Guess that depends how well the server's running. Live traffic did used to appear on the VFR map, didn't it? I'm sure it did. Boxer Steve, you've just asked a question to which I ask myself pretty much every day. A bit of background about me. When I was younger, I'm probably 10 years old. I was younger than that when my infatuation with airliners, commercial aviation started. But originally, I wanted to be an air traffic controller. That was my dream. That was my goal at commercial airfields. And I worked on that all the way through my teens. Read so much and became so knowledgeable about air traffic control. Had all the simulations and would work for, do the 90 minutes, have a break, without having any deals or anything like that, and was really up for it. At the time though, and I'm going back 20 years, at the time, you needed the Class 1 medical, both for air traffic control and for commercial pilots licenses. You don't anymore. You still need Class 1 for commercial pilots, but air traffic control has now been dropped. I think it might even be a Class 3 now, if memory serves. So in one foul swoop, I lost the dream of being air traffic controller or a commercial pilot. So with VATSIM, yeah, I have, and I will do it one day. The problem I've got at the moment is the training at the time that I need to go into it. But what do we think, guys? If we got certified on VATSIM streaming, would you find that interesting to watch? Streaming the ATC, see how that goes. I know controllers that do it, and it's great to watch. But yeah, I'd be happy to do it. I'd love to do somewhere like Manchester, or even the smaller airfields, and you can all come and fly in. You can land in my order of preference. So Matthew, you failed with the hearing test with NATs. I failed on my eyesight with NATs. So you'd all enjoy that. Oh guys, I'm going to have to start. I'm going to have to quit my day job. I can't afford to do that. Alright, so we're at our cruise. So ECAM memo, just check, nothing there. ECAM SD pages, need to check those. Just cycle through, see what's working, see what's not. Engine bleed, cabin pressure, landing elevation, yeah, we know about that. Generator 1 off, APU is still on. allegedly, and both batteries are off. Don't know when that'll get fixed. Hydraulics not working just yet. Fuel's absolutely fine. APU is off, as confirmed there. Ooh, the flight deck, 24 degrees, how lovely. All the doors still sealed, again there's a bonus. Temperature of 0 degrees on the wheels. Flight controls all good. Excellent. So the flight progress. I've sent you guys the operational flight plan. Oh, HD, can you imagine community flights on VATSIM? Ugh. I would not want to be the controller for that. Okay, so let's check our progress. Where are we? We are 23 minutes into the flight and 60 miles away from Label. Let's have a look. Where are we? So Label, 23 minutes. We're slightly behind. But the interesting thing that I want to keep an eye on at this moment in time, is the fuel on board. At Label, we should have 5.5 tons. We've currently got 6.7 tons, so there's no issues there. Just watching that fuel on board. Oh, there we go. I was concerned it wasn't changing. Alienware 18, yes, certainly ask any questions. Anything that I've missed in the chat, if you've asked me a question I have not answered them, I'm sure HD will have, but if I've not answered them, please do ask again, because I do miss the chat sometimes. And HD's just beat me to it again. So the trip wind alone is suitable, but if you can download upper winds, it just improves accuracy for the fuel planning. And while I'm here, can we can't pull the standby to standard, can we? I thought you could. There we go. Matthew, you're still type rated, are you? You're an S3 on VATSIM. You can do the approach and below you. We could manage every position at one aerodrome and make all 3 flights a day feel incredibly special. Well, with lockdown at the moment, it's busy, isn't it? Which is great. Okay, so that's good. Let's grab some weathers, shall we? Alright, so if you guys are with me, HD, no, you can't download the winds, not yet. So if you guys are with me and have got the operational flight plan, onto my AOC menu, weather request, where is it? So where are the alternates? Okay, so what we want is, as well as our, we can get rid of Toulouse, we've left you behind. So Echo, Delta, Delta, Papa, pop that in. That didn't work. Why didn't that work? I have to go Delta, Delta, Papa. Oh, I can't change that. That's annoying. Oh, that's really annoying. Echo, Delta, Delta, Papa. Put that in there so we can add them. And we'll go with Hamburg as well. Echo, Delta, Delta, Hotel. So we'll just send those off for now. I'm annoyed you can't change the airports. HD, confirm something for me. Those wouldn't actually be there, would they? Toulouse and Finkel, Verkel, whatever that's called. You'd have to manually pop those in. So whilst that's downloading, so Andy, where can you get the new bandit livery? Is it included in the new dev version? No, not yet. It needs to do a couple of tests, and this is one of them. We're just testing that the aircraft actually works, and it should. As you can see, we're flying quite nicely. Nothing's going wrong just yet. What does the barometric pressure do in flights in 2020? If you're referring to the altimeter, it just needs setting to make sure that you have got you're at the correct altitude that you land at. That's a very, very bad explanation of it, but basically you need to make sure that you set the pressure in the aircraft is reading the same as the airfield that you're landing at, or departing from, of course. So, hey Patrick, when you use the dial to set the altitude, what exactly are you doing? Setting the plane up to fly towards the altitude automatically? More or less speaking, that's right. So you can either do it via managed mode. So if we set 350, flight level 35,000 feet, and push the altitude button, the altitude bug, it would then take us to that automatically. Or if you pulled the bug, it would still do it automatically and stop at 350, but you can set your rate of climb using VS speed. Digital flight deck, each time you've calculated flex temp you've seen, we always get 67 degrees. Are you sure it's not T-max? Don't believe so, but then every time we've been flying, realistically, we've been on decent length runways, the weather's been pretty similar. The payload's also been very similar. I don't think SimBrief messes around too much with that. It'd be great to get a really, really heavy payload one day. Then again, if I'm flying as EasyJet, we don't take cargo. So yeah. Organised to what's new cruise altitude 37000 mean? Basically, because we initially planned our cruise altitude of flight level 350, the flight computer told us, actually, you could do a bit better than that. You'd be safe to climb higher than that. So we decided to go to 370 on the autopilot. So then the flight computer just gave us a big message saying, you've changed your initial plan. In other words, are you sure that's what you meant to do? Organised 92, I always use 58 because I have no idea what it's doing. If you've no idea, mate, leave it at 20 and just use toga power. And HD is right a little bit further down the chat. It's because it's the flex temp software I'm using is actually designed for the CEO aircraft, not the Neos. Oh yeah, for God's sakes, please guys, no politics. Aren't we all fed up of that by now? Darth Duck, is the pitch normal? Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. And if we have a look on the actual have a look on the flight display, what are we at? 2.5 degrees, so that's fine. That's good. Friend, yesterday on the descent and final approach stage of the flight, I couldn't do a proper approach as the descent knob didn't respond to any of my commands. Not had that bug just yet, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to cry off answering that one because I've not seen it, not had it. Greetings from Finland. Hello. Great to see you. Morning from New Zealand. Morning, wow. Morning from New Zealand, Mercury. New games computer only made by Dominique. What a username. You can ask us anything, as long as it's family friendly and doesn't involve politics. Greetings from Italy. Chico, just want to thank you for the tutorials. They've helped me a lot. I'm relatively new to the game. You are more than welcome. Glad you're finding them useful. Okay, so we should have those weather reports in by now. So let's see what we're expecting. Not bothered about Toulouse, that's gone. Oh wow, okay, visibility just under 5 kilometers, overcast 200 feet. Ugh. Alright. 1 degree, that's to be expected. Echo Delta Delta Papa. So the cloud base is much better, but light snow. no significant changes there. Hamburg. Oh wow, we're avoiding that. Light snow and rain, broken 300. And is that runway visual range or is that runway braking capacity? I have to go and double check that. Wow, okay. Temporary 4 kilometre visibility. Well, they all look nice, don't they? We may be doing a taking the autopilot off late for our landing. Never mind. So, where is... I'll grab my phone for this. If anyone wants to get Meta on their phone, there is a fantastic app. And if you hold on a second, I'll give you the name. It's literally called, here we go, so I don't know if it's available on the App Store, but certainly it is for Google Play and Android. Pilot Weather. In fact, it must be on the App Store. I'm sure, HD, you've got this. And I know you're an Apple man. So, Pilot Weather. If you type that in, what was it? HDDH for Hamburg. Oh, wow, okay. So, the runway report, basically, all runways slush. But good braking action. Wonderful. There's a word we want to hear when landing. Slush. It does say it's got light snow and rain. And I found the Meta here in Flight Sim 2020, because it is not Rex, it is just Flight Sim 2020 to be getting... It seems to have got much more accurate of late. So if I just check these messages received and type in Echo Delta Hotel India, which is where we're landing. Echo Delta Hotel India at Finkenwerder. Okay, so this is actually an automatic Meta wind. So this is the real one. This is 10 minutes old and live. So wind 2705 knots. There we've got 2604 knots. So that's pretty close. Overcast is 200 meters. No, it isn't. 200 feet. So that's spot on. Visibility, this is saying 5,000 meters. That's got 4,700. So again, that's accurate. QNH 1009 hectopascals. That's correct as well. And the temperature is 1. So I think Microsoft's actually doing a bang up job with those. We'll see what it's like when we arrive. But so far we seem to be going off absolutely fine, don't we? And it looks good. It looks very neat. There's probably no way to implement it, but wouldn't it be nice if you could have your own custom liveries, so Easyjet for me, British Airways, anything like that, and still include the wraparound mask? I don't know if they'd ever be able to model something like that, but that would be quite interesting. Maybe a tick box. Mask on, mask off. That's something we have to think about all the time, isn't it, when we go shopping now? Tupo, Microsoft Flight Simulator Air Traffic Control don't give you the correct planned altitude. No, they don't. They don't. You'll notice I am not doing this with any air traffic control. I'm not on VATSIM today, but I would rather fly with no air traffic control than Microsoft Flight Sim air traffic control. AP, thanks for joining. We'll see you very soon. Christian, there's a special reason I'm flying to Finkenwerder, and that is because it is the Airbus delivery airport, the airport where airlines come to collect their aircraft. So let's imagine we've left Toulouse, where they're made, the assembly line, and we're now flying it for our new customer. That's basically the scenario I had in my head when I planned the flight this evening. Organised 92, yes, that's what I mean, the raccoon eyes. Chris, do I use the flight planner to plan flights, or do I input them straight into the McDo? I use SimBrief, my friend. If you're unfamiliar with SimBrief, do check it out. It is an amazing free website. It gives you realistic looking operational flight plans, all for free. And if I just find somewhere on here, I've got a tutorial for those that may not have used it and want to start using it. Bear with me a second. Got to try and find this. It was a long time that I did it, almost when the simulator first came out, as people were new to SimBrief back then, for those that got the simulator brand new. But I will pop a link to that tutorial that just explains the basics of using it. And now, of course, in the FlyByWire A320 Neo, you can import them, so it's all done automatically for you. It is great. There we go. We'll just copy that link. So this is SimBrief. You can go and have a look at that. Philippe, how do I get the mask? You've just downloaded the latest dev build and not have it. No, you won't do. This is not yet released or available to the general public. It will be soon, though. It's not going to be long before this is an extra livery that you can have. We're literally just doing the test flight on it now. The delivery flight, if you will. Captain Viv, when is the next community flight? I have no idea, I'm afraid, at the moment. Mark, you love the fact that I have a backstory for the flight. When flying with my friends, we always fly into a local region in a jet before changing to the X-Cub. Just adds a little something. Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's the same when I'm doing the live streams. I try not to jump airports. So yesterday, where did we land? We landed our Easyjet aircraft. It's currently in Stockholm. Yeah, that's right, we're in Stockholm. So ideally, what I'd like to do the next time in the Easyjet aircraft is we'll be departing from Stockholm to somewhere. So what we got organised now to do, difference between Cat 2, Cat 3, so that's the decision height. Itchbin, you've got to go, thank you for stopping by. Christian, don't you type in no in the DH when performing the Cat 3B? HDL confirmed, but I think you do. Or you certainly leave it blank. Hello from Brazil, is that? Kyo Gamers? Sio Gamers? Thank you for joining. Can you guys hear the wind as well, zipping past us? I think that's great. Do you know what I'm going to do? The engine sounds are constantly being tweaked So if I just jump in and grab the drone camera. Oh, let's have a listen to these engines for a moment. Lovely. Oh! Well, that's a great view. Surely our drone would have been chopped to bits. It's a little closer to the engine than I wanted to get, but fair enough. That looks like our washing machine. Doesn't spin quite that fast though. If it did, I wouldn't have to dry the clothes. Nusrat Polat, you are too kind, my friend. Thank you. So, with no passengers to satisfy by serving alcoholic beverages or anything like that. Clearly you have a big washing machine. Yeah. We've got 4 kids, mate. We need a big washing machine. A minimum of 1 load a day. Ideally 2. Do LEAF engines live longer with Calgon? That doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well for the jingle though, does it? Robert, hello from Kenya! Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for stopping by. Christian, that's the bird view. Sadly, they're not usually around long enough to enjoy it, are they? Ronald, how's Chicago doing this evening? HD, we wouldn't be popular with engineers, not for chucking the drone in there, see what it looks like. Who gets the job of sticking the hand in to find the GoPro? Organised, have you just Google translated that? I think I prefer the German version to the English. So, whilst we're in cruise, I shall just pop the chat on there. Oh, is that the actual German jingle? And they make it work, don't they? Just doesn't seem to roll off the tongue. Maybe they have a different tune, do they? Doesn't seem to roll off the tongue quite as well, mind you. There's only one word I can remember from my high school German, and that was der Kugelschreiber, which I believe was the pencil sharpener. I don't know why that one stuck, it just did. Tim, hi from Tim and Julie from East Yorkshire. Thanks for joining in. I'm currently sat in South Yorkshire. Are you guys still East Yorkshire or are you now Humberside? I never did understand the difference. Dominique, of course, you can ask a question. Go for it. And whilst I'm waiting for that, oh, Christian. 20 years later, I can still remember it. Well, maybe a bit more. Don't know why random things stick, but they do, don't they? I think it was just because it sounds so angry. I know most of the German language does, but der Kugelschreiber sounds like a mighty weapon. Has Twitch crashed today? Oh, I'm glad I wasn't streaming on Twitch then. Jill, should we use the VR speed from the A320 performance calculator after getting the flex temp? It doesn't seem to like it auto-calculates the VR speed and it'll do as it stays the same. I think there's some discussion as to whether the flex temp actually is working or not. They say it is, but normally I certainly don't get the V speeds calculated until I put in flex temp Got the aircraft loaded so it's at the right weight, etc. Takeoff weights are loaded. So yeah, I always make sure that the VR speeds are the last things that are calculated. HD, I can tell at the moment you're not doing very much. That's what you're spending your time doing. I'll throw a couple of my kids your way. Take the load off me. Some people say Russian sounds like Klingon. Well, you know, they've got to get the inspiration for it somewhere, haven't they? Matthew, I'm not even going to attempt that. Rankin wagon. Brilliant. That's right up there with Cougar Scriber. Okay, so I'm just going to start having a look now at my approach into Hamburg, see what it is we need to do. So the platform altitude is 3,000 feet. Basically we want to be at Hamburg by 4,000 feet really. That's the Hamburg VOR, by the way. 111.3. No, it isn't. 113.1. That was a bit dyslexic, wasn't it? 113.1. Okay, so with that in mind, we will need to... Oh, I've just messed that up. We shall need to start our descent at about 110 miles from Hamburg. We will do the descent. I actually have no idea what Portuguese sounds like. Matthew, you lived in the Netherlands for 3 years. I don't think it's possible to sound anything but hyper in Dutch. Well, isn't that just due to the nice relaxed rules they have over there regarding certain substances? Dutch is like German but funny. MFS Pilot, you're back for another stream. Good to see you, my friend. Okay, so if we just have a little look around us, see what we can see. Weather's looking pretty good beneath us at the moment, isn't it? Remember guys, this is live weather, just not the live time. And the reason I do these test flights the reason I've done that is basically for the test flights, I don't want to be doing those in the dark, just in case something goes disastrously wrong. That is why we are not on VATSIM or anything like that. Alpha Games, are you in Russia? Hello! Thank you for stopping by. Boxer Steve, hi mate. So I said earlier that liveries need testing. Why is this? How does it affect the aircraft? How does it affect the aircraft? No idea. It does interfere with them though sometimes. We, the FlyByWire team, have had reports that some liveries just completely mess up how the aircraft works. I can't explain to you why that happens. I'm not a coder. It's far beyond my understanding. But they do need testing. And this is a very simple test. It is fly the aircraft as you would a normal flight. Test it, make sure this livery doesn't cause any unexpected issues. And there we go. What was the wind HD? Could we get away with doing that? Does that give us a slight tailwind? I know we can compensate for that if need be. MSFS pilot, I'm not sure when the next community flight will be. Remember though guys, if you are on our Discord, you can arrange your own community flights on there. Nothing to stop you doing that. In fact, I encourage that. It's great fun. So once again, I will give you guys an invitation to the Discord server. So if you want to get yourself on the Easyjetsimpilot Discord, then click the link. There we go. Triple seven. Yeah, that the switches below the ECAM. If you've moved them, then you'll get a. It's not a warning. It's just a message letting you know that you've done something which is out of the ordinary. Okay, so if anything goes wrong now, Luxembourg looks like a nice choice. So in which case, what we would do is we'd head to our computer. Go to, actually we can't do ATIS because that doesn't work, or it does if VATSIM are currently online, but as I'm not flying on VATSIM I'm not sure if they are or not. So I can pop a weather request in and just go to ask for Luxembourg LX. I'll send that off. I don't understand why the Category 1 medical exam prevented you from becoming an air traffic controller. What was the criteria you couldn't pass? Okay, so I failed the Class 1 on my eyesight, which, again, particularly if you were in what the Americans call a trancon, center control, you're initially sat staring at radar screens. So back then when I was a teenager, I got very upset about it, as you can imagine, because I can see screens absolutely fine. It's obviously a very long distance where my eyes don't work properly. But normal day-to-day stuff, you can drive, you know, I mean, with corrected lenses, i.e. glasses or contacts, my vision's fine, but it was still below the requirements at the time. That was 20 years ago. It may no longer be below requirements because they have relaxed the rules for air traffic control. And particularly now when they're talking about doing air traffic control from remote cameras and things like that, then I think they had to, didn't they? They had to relax the rules a little bit. So, okie-dokies. So still not wonderful weather. If we had to divert now, say to Luxembourg. So we've got light snow and mist. Broken 600. For example, then, if we had a medical emergency or we had to get down on the ground, there was nothing wrong with the aircraft, there'd been nothing wrong with landing there. Winds are light enough, so that's good. Amtrak, good evening fellow sinners, hello. Boxer Steve, for some reason whenever I put the speed on selected mode, my aircraft just goes nose down, hard right bank. But it's only when you put the speed on selected mode. How quickly are you putting on the autopilot after departing from the runway? I say that because once you've reached climb thrust, then the flight director commands a nose down pitch almost to gain speed. It does so a little unrealistically at the moment. So I tend to wait until I've passed S speed at the very least before engaging autopilot. Might be worth a try. Yeah, Matthew, you're right. I'm going back 20 years, so that's changed. Captain Viv, what is VATSIM? So VATSIM is a virtual air traffic control network staffed by live human beings, so you've actually got real live air traffic controllers to speak to. If you check out some of the streams that we do, full flights, EasyJet flights, then we're always on VATSIM, so you'll hear us chatting to live controllers. McMahon, so the topic of descent calculation is roughly a rule of 3. When descending to a waypoint, is it the same minus target altitude? See, I've done it slightly different to you. Basically, I know that by a certain waypoint, I want to be at a certain altitude. So I know that by the Hamburg VOR today, I want to be at 4,000 feet. So I basically need to lose 33,000 feet to get to that VOR. So the calculation is 33,000 feet, divide that by 1,000, times that by 3, that's 99, so 99 miles, and then add 10 miles on top of that, just for 10 miles to slow the aircraft down. So I'm going to start our top of descent, 110 miles. To be completely exact, it will be 109 miles, but give or take a mile, that's no problem. On-screen chat, is it Comic Sans? I have no idea. Oh, HD, were they the RAF standards? No wonder I didn't get in. Romulus, so MDA is minimum descent height and DH is decision height. MDH is the, or do you mean MDA actually, minimum descent altitude? MDA is the one that we use most commonly. That's for all normal landings. DH is only used when doing a full auto land, something not yet implemented in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. So at the moment we're just using MDA. And basically you can't descend any lower than the MDA if you can't see the runway, to put it mildly. If you can't see the runway by the MDA, consider going around. Decision height, fully automated landing, that is the height at which you are going to decide whether to continue with the approach and let the aircraft land, or you're going to go toga thrust and go around. Try again, doesn't work, maybe divert. So the second one is you're making the decision. Should I let the plane carry on? Is it safe to? Ferrant, yeah, so you're exactly correct. It is for auto land approaches, not just precision approaches. MFS, has anyone else encountered the coming out of cruise, the rudder trim automatic goes all the way to 20 degrees to the right? Really? Well, I've not seen that. Boxer Steve, if you were at 2,000 feet and going 130 knots, was that on takeoff? Because that's... if you put autopilot on there at takeoff, then the aircraft will pitch down to try and gain speed, I would imagine. Captain Viv, how do you get wind shear on Flight Sim 2020? Land at an airport close to a big mountain, and you do get that. Christian, yeah, I'm with you. I'd like the weather radar functioning. MFS pilot, can I repeat the formula for top of descent? Yep, I'll type it in as well. So I want to lose 33,000 feet because I want to be at an altitude of 4,000 feet by the Hamburg VOR. So I do 33,000 feet, the altitude I want to lose, divide that by 1,000, multiply that by 3, that gives me 99 miles. I then add 10 to that, because that gives me an extra 10 miles to slow down, which equals 109 miles. So I've also just typed that in for you. Matthew, why are you giving us the the formula for common table salt? Romulus, no problem. Happy to answer any questions. We're all quite knowledgeable here, aren't we? Get yourself on the Discord and help some others that also want to learn. That's what it's all about, guys. Swiss001, hello. Matthew, ensure the approach lights are for the runway desired and not the Burger King at Donington services. Oh, I'm having flashbacks to the East Midland flight crew, who sadly, if you're not familiar with that, thought they got a double engine failure. They hadn't. They'd shut down the wrong engine. Dope. We almost landed on a highway though, didn't we? 2 or 3 weeks back when we were going to Enfida. Turns out there are no airport lights at Enfida. That was a stupid idea to try and land there in the dark. Boxer Steve, I'd wait until you've got at least 230 knots. Make sure you're past S speed and then engage your autopilot. Rewind the takeoff from today. I think I explained a little bit about that today on this this stream. Just go and watch the takeoff from this, it might help. Mark, have I experienced the love weather failing? I'm going to guess that's live weather, auto-corrected. Causing me all kinds of problems on flights into Keflavik on Tuesday as I couldn't work out what the VAT sim controls were asking of me. What I would say to this, as I've recently discovered, is that if you do a flight and then you set yourself up on the ground, you then for some reason hit escape and go back onto the main menu. If you then respawn and load again, live weather doesn't work. You kind of only get one shot at it at the moment, so I think that's clearly a bug that Microsoft need to address. Andy, is it me or does the audio sound like it's coming from a tin can? I hope not. Matthew, yeah, that was Kegworth that I was referring to. Christian, it can't be copyrighted music, I'm afraid. I'll get my hand slapped by by YouTube. Alright, so we're about 200 miles away, guys. Let's start having a look at our weather and approach. Alright, let's see if the weather's changed at all, shall we? Let's have some nice weather. That would be lovely. Okay, see if that weather's come through yet. Alright, so... Oh, that's not changed at all, has it? But if you remember when I read out a real live meta that I just pulled from one of the apps that I've got, that is now the exact same weather that it was showing. So, well done, Azobo. And Microsoft, of course. Overcast 200 feet. Lovely. Yeah, HD, I think you may be right. Okay. What's Hamburg doing? I think Hamburg was worse, wasn't it? I don't really want to divert miles and miles away. sure my wife's expecting me to have finished with this by just gone 10 o'clock. Can I say divert? Certainly, divert. Okay, so looks like instead of doing runway 5, we will do runway 23. Frantically searching for new charts now. Christian, where's that? I don't expect Hamburg to be much better, to be fair. Okay, let's get some new charts up here on Navigraph. So we're going to do runway 5. Which would actually still have us normally flying to the Hamburg VOR and then do one of our teardrop approaches. Platform altitude 3,000 feet. New boy, don't upset the wife. You're quite right. Divert to Doncaster, Sheffield, Robin Hood, Rotherham, Princeton, Nottinghamshire. I can't read that. I can't get through that without laughing. All right. So, oh, Cat 2. Decision height is. I've got a decision height. HD, well, am I looking at the same form as you? I've got a decision height of 117. For Cat 2. Mind you, that's runway visibility range of 300 metres, which we should get. No, I'm not using Sim Toolkit Pro, my friend. Mark, quite right, it will always be Finningley. Either way, let's change this approach, shall we? So, we're going ILS runway 5 now. Via I don't actually recognize any of these waypoints in here. Yes, so I'll tell you what. If we go no veers, what will that do to us? It'll probably mess up our approach entirely. This is where Flight Sim 2020 doesn't always play by the rules. I don't want a veer, you know, it's put one in for me anyway. Enter destination. Oh, HD, you've confused me. We were landing on runway 23 to begin with, not runway 5. Did I not send you the flight plan? Let's go back. I think we were set up correct the first time. Putting my trust in my PM. Yeah, we were always landing runway 23. Which means I've just pulled the wrong charts out. Runway 23 ILS and the initial approach. There we go. Via Hamburg and well, hang on then. Oh, HD, you've got me landing on runway 5. Oh my word! I'm going to buy a ruler. Yeah, because the lower decision height's runway 5. It's 117, isn't it? Okay, let's pop that in. Then we best get some weather inserted. Let's see what this looks like now on the flight plan. So, let me just go back to plan mode, see how we're looking. Wow, okay, we're not doing that full approach. Yeah, so we've got Noglo, and then we can spin round. There we go. There's a there's a slight chance we might go straight from Love Me to HI 255. Okay, let's pop that weather into the performance page then, shall we? So the weather is currently where have you gone? I had that a minute ago because we grabbed it, didn't we? I'm using the app for this because it is, as we've just seen, realistic now. Echo Delta Hotel India Finkenwerder. So currently IFR at Finkenwerder, and we have QH of 1009. Temperature of 1. Dew point of 1. That usually starts to make it a little bit misty. Visibility is 6,000 meters. Wind 270 at 6. 270 at 6. Oh, just tried to put that into the transition altitude. Shall we try that again? Transition altitude is 5,000 feet. Yeah, I'm just not doing the Metar Vision on the McDo purely because I'm just being quick. And 117 was the decision height, wasn't it? There we go. So in the real world, I'd like to do a fully automatic landing with this, but we cannot do that. So all we're going to do is, once we've got eyes on the runway, it might be kind of late, but we will knock the autopilot off for that. So with that, my top of descent is going to be a little bit quicker. Iraq, I thought the A320F, is that the freight version, was already fly-by-wire. What's the difference in this stream test? It's purely testing out a new livery that they've made, my friend, as liveries can interfere with we're just checking that it's not interfering. Let's have another look at that livery again. There it is, with the bandit mask wrapped around the windshield. You could be forgiven for thinking that that is a Dreamliner, couldn't you? A squashed Dreamliner. Boss Colon, thank you very, very much for your support to the stream. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you, my friend. Get yourself on the Discord server and come join us and chat with us. Alright, so what I'm actually going to do, just looking at this, is platform altitude is 3,000 feet. Okay guys, so approach briefing for this. Let's zip in here. Let me turn the chat off so you guys will be able to see what's happening on the stream. There goes the chat. We're starting our descent pretty soon. So, starting our descent, we're going to, once we are leveled by Love Me, I want to be about 4,000 feet by Love Me. What a great name. So if you can just see this here, because I want to scroll through the plan. So 3,000 feet by Love Me. There we go. Oh, hang on, let me just go back. 3,000 feet by Love Me. And then we're going to go direct to HI 255, which is the start of the ILS. At this point, we want to be at 3,000 feet, and we're essentially going to do almost an auto land because the weather is quite bad. We've got overcast at 200 feet, so the runway touchdown is at 15 feet, so we've got 185 feet to go. There will be a slight tailwind, so we need to take that into consideration. We need to see 3 approach lights and the lateral element to be able to continue. So they're sort of like the T-bars that you get. Or crossbar as HD has called it, or the green threshold light. So descent preparation, weather and landing information, we've obtained that. We've set up the flight management guidance computer, that's all sorted. Landing elevation check, 15 feet. Arrival briefing, we've half gone through that. We haven't discussed what happens after touching down. So, upon landing, it's a nice long runway. So upon landing, the terminals etc. are to the left. We would probably vacate via Bravo. If we don't vacate via Bravo, we will have to backtrack, as taxiways Alpha and Fox are no longer in use. HD, I will check that in a moment. Oh, HD, I've got the wrong chart up. It's because I went back to runway 23. There we go. Okay, yep, so platform altitude is 3,000 feet at Erlek. And your chart's great. Your chart's in greater detail than mine. I've got minimum safe altitude of 2,100 feet. Okay, we best start this descent, hadn't we? It's creeping up on us. Let's start to get down there. Okay, so I'm going to get us down to 4,000 feet. And then, tell you what we can do actually, HD, if I just dim that, we should now turn the constraints on. And zoom in, see what we've got them set. Right, so it's 7,500 feet. If we're flying the full approach, it would be 7,500 feet. Well, I've got 4,000 feet at HI 255. It's 3,000 feet. Ah, right, okay, I see where we're going. I see what's happening. So 3,000 feet is by 256. And then Erlich, which is the start of the ILS approach, that's where we're at 3,000 feet as well. So let me just zoom in, guys, in case you didn't see that. So we can do 4,000 feet at HI 255, then descending to 3,000 feet as we get the ILS. By that point, of course, we could most probably have got the glide slope anyway, so that's okay. Let's get the speed brakes out. Matthew, yeah, the problem with that is our managed speed would have us because we can't set knots yet. We can't go back to speed. We're still stuck in Mach mode until we get past. I think it's 250 here in the sim. If we end up being too high above the profile because we were looking at the approach, then we may have to just fly the full circle approach, as you can see. We've no passengers on board, remember? Danny, we're running. I'm afraid I did miss what you said. So I was trying around, got a new GPU, and before the A320NX I had 35 SPF in the cockpit. After I had 15 to 25. Why? Turn off the first officer's display. Basically, the reason the frame rates drop when you're using the mod is because the mod is a heck of a lot more complicated. All the panels work independently, so you're rendering twice as much. But as you can see here, even now, I've got the panels turned off. Alright, so let's set our altimeter to 109 at 1009. Very important we get this bit right. Ecam status check, engine mode selector as required. Well, it's not meant to be raining or anything like that, so we can leave that in normal. PA, we don't need to ding the cabin. Let's get those seatbelt signs on, and let's get those anti-ices on as well. Oops, don't need to touch the emergency signs. If anyone was on board, we've just scared them all. Okay, so we've checked the flight plan sequencing, we know what is listed. Ideally, we should be able to just delete everything in between that we're not going to fly. Although at the moment, just because of the profile we are on, I think we may end up flying some of it at least. We could just vector over out to the right a little bit, 07080 degrees, and then come back in just to lose altitude. So the flight plan sequencing, adjust that if need be. Approach phase, we will check or activate that as needed. Once we've done that, we enter manage mode, monitor the flight path, make sure the speed brakes are as required, landing lights as well. Howling Crazy on Twitch, hello. We're literally just testing a new looking livery and making sure it's not interfering with the dev version of the fly-by-wire mode. Let me just quickly show you. There you go. How does that look? The masked bandit about to enter the clouds. And as we are going to do that, actually, I'm just going to pop some lights on. It may be a little bit dark down there. The last thing you want is to be scrambling around trying to see things. So as much as I would like to have done this straight in approach, we may be a bit fast if we do. We'll see how we go. However, we may just, as I suggest, go over to the right and come back in again. Lewis, how do I know when to start descending? Check out on the channel the tutorial, which I believe is called "How do you when do you start your descent?" We actually descended. We actually started this descent late for two reasons. One, we were checking weathers. Two, we were checking runways. Three, we checked the wrong runway. And by the time we come back up, we were a bit too close. But with no passengers on, so I don't mind descending at a slightly faster rate than I would normally do. We're not annoying anybody. Tell you what I haven't checked. We just go to the RadNav page. Need to do this quickly. So 110.7, that is correct. And I also want the Hamburg VOR in there as well, because a missed approach could happen. So the missed approach procedure, as we do have, which we could have to do. So the missed approach procedure basically is climb straight ahead to a distance of 3.7 miles from the runway, then turn right direct to the Hamburg VOR, climbing to 4,000 feet. I didn't like to say HD, but yeah, you did confuse me. Told me to change runway to the one that I was actually already landing on. Better to have discovered it during the cruise, though, digital flight deck, rather than about now. So Top Gun, that is from Flight Live Studios, but it is only available for streaming. I do not see that in the sim. So it's going to be an almost auto land, guys. I say almost because I am hoping that we will be able to take the autopilot off with about 100 close to 200 feet to go. Close to 200 feet to go, and then we can knock it off. That's the plan anyway. Best laid plans and all that. Fair, so they're actually pretty straightforward. So a straight-in approach is what I was hoping to do. So we would literally just fly, as we're almost flying in the same direction as the landing runway, we should just be able to, if we'd have got the descent right, fly straight in. As it is, we're going to have to circle to land because we need to lose a little bit more altitude. We may not have to fly the full thing. 10,000 feet, lights going on. So I don't expect now, guys, to see much outside the windshield until we're about 200 feet away from the runway. Always fun. Okay, so I'm going to go into selected heading mode, and we're going to just detour a little bit to try and lose a bit of altitude, then we'll come back in. Bit of an S-shaped approach. We're also a little bit above 250 knots, so I need to reduce the descent rate anyway because we're breaking some rules at the moment. Oh, Captain Viv, well done. Well done indeed. Oh, these clouds. Never get tired of seeing the clouds in Flight Sim 2020. So the speed brakes are still out. I've just realised, I don't know why the engines do that, they've spooled up again. Definitely a bug there with the airspeed. So that's not helping us. However, with that, we can now start to bring her back around. Triple seven, what about the auto thrust, my friend? That's working pretty well. Has done almost since day one, to be fair. The only thing is, just then, for some reason, it had started to spool the engines up again, and I don't know why. Is it just me, or have I lost the... Oh, no, I haven't. No, it is just me. Forget that. Okay, so, performance, we can now activate the approach phase. With that, manage mode on the speed. Do I find sometimes the ILS runway and glide scope isn't there and you can't capture it? I've never had it happen, thankfully. Flaps 1. Christian, that's exactly right. Not to lose lose weight. No, that's not right. I didn't read what you put properly then. To lose altitude, not weight. Okay, so landing system is on. We're below the glide slope at the minute, so that's good. Okay, So as we're heading towards H256, let's get down to 3,000 feet. Pete, yeah, the visibility is okay. The cloud base isn't though. Cloud base is 200 feet. So as we arrive at 3,000 feet, bring the spoilers back in. And we can start to finally line up now with our intercept angle for the ILS. And Erlech, which as you can see there, if you can see that, Erlech is at 10 miles. HD, I did wonder when you were screaming at me about that. We didn't have that far to drop. Decision height is 117, that is correct. Okay, so approach mode is now armed. There we go, capturing the localizer. Glide slope is armed. Just looking at that wind actually. Not the tailwind I was anticipating. Then again, we're still at 3,000 feet. It could change. HD, you must have had a stressful day today. Flip N1X. Where do I get QNH visibility, etc.? All from the McDo down here. You can get that all built in on the fly-by-wire mod. You can basically request them. And they're usually pretty accurate as well. Magenta is definitely more evil than red, quite right. So yeah, can't see a thing. In fact, tops of this cloud base is only just above us. Flaps 2 as we look to intercept the glide slope in a moment. Note of course this is an ILS approach, it is not an ILS DME, which means we have no distance on the charts there. So that's the glide slope captured. Should actually, if I just change this, 113.1, so we keep Hamburg in VOR2. However, 110.7, pop that there. Oh, we're not getting that. It does say actually that it is an ILS DME. Oh, it's 108.5. Ah, right, different frequency. 108.5. Oh, we've got time to change that. 108.5. Pop that in. There we go. So there's our we're having to use the VOR frequency for our distance. 7.2 miles. HD, I'll just beat you to that. So the ILS for this, I don't know HD, I've never seen this before. The ILS is 110.7. The ILS DME is 108.5. However, that is for runway 05. No, it isn't. That's for runway 23. Obviously, we're on runway 05. So landing gear down. Flaps 3. Yeah, so this is an ILS approach, not ILS DME. However, runway 23 is. Oh, look, runway lights. There we go. Flaps full. Spoilers armed. Ding the cabin. Now, we can't mess up this landing, guys. This is a brand new aeroplane. And we've got the customer waiting for it. Several £1 million right here. I'm quite happy with that. Visibility wasn't as bad as we expected. So, HD, quite right. Not as bad as the Meta. That looks like a narrow runway. That was something I didn't check. Once again, the Pappies and the glide slope arguing with each other. If that happens, I find the glide slope to be the better of the two. Continue.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
And we just got, I don't know if you noticed that, there was a slight gust of wind just before we touched down. Nothing too major, but it was there. Nice long runway. Okay, so as we spoke about in the approach briefing, there are a couple of runways, taxiways here, but we're not allowed to use them. They're actually crossed out on the chart, so we will backtrack. Yeah, HD, the tailwind, it did change, didn't it? So, once again, kudos to Zobo and Microsoft. So we'll spin her around and park her up somewhere, ready for the new airline's managing director. Who should we deliver this aircraft to, guys? Pick an airline. I am seriously considering, for our long-haul flights, doing a delivery flight over a few Mondays. We always do long-haul flights on a Monday, step out of the Easyjet flight deck, do a long-haul flight. I'm seriously considering doing a delivery flight, so no passengers, anything like that. We'll do it over 2 or 3 weeks, maybe get to Australia or something like that. Why does the FMA say EMB? I don't know, I didn't see that. Okay, so where are we? That is Foxtrot, we can't go on there. The next right is Alpha, we can't go on there. We want to take Bravo. So there's Foxtrot. See, that's the only other thing that upsets me a little bit about the weather, and that is well, those lights are bright. It's the only little problem I've seen with the weather, and that is no matter how much cloud you've got, you still sometimes manage to see the sun. You think about those think about the cloud bases we just have to fly through, and yet the sun's still there. Miguel, I imagine this version will be released very soon with the extra logo on it. Get that APU started. Okay, so I don't imagine this airfield to have any parking stands of any description, given that it's not really a commercial airport. But we'll have a hunt, see what we can find. Yeah, HD, exactly. There should have been clouds till 200 feet. Torres, how do you pin the PDF on the screen? I can explain. Press the right Alt key and then select which instrument you would like. Looks like I've landed on Mars. Oh, I can see another aircraft over there. I don't fancy getting my getting my aircraft through that gap though. Let's see where this taxiway takes us, shall we? I mean, we can have essentially just abandoned the aircraft anyway, because we're not exactly taxiing to a gate as such. Oh, yuck. All that ice. Here we go. This looks like as good a place as any. We'll hold that there. Beautiful. Okay guys, so glad to say this has been a successful flight. Nothing's gone wrong, not with the aircraft anyway. So we'll let FlyByWire know that there's no issues with that. The livery's been tested, nothing's gone wrong or anything. So it shouldn't be too long before that livery is added to the dev version. So good stuff. Alright guys, I'm going to leave that there for this evening. Thank you to all of us that have joined you. Hope we've entertained you throughout the flight. If you haven't subscribed or it's your first time joining us, please do hit the subscribe button for notifications of more live streams, new content. Turn on the notification bell as well. Thank you as well to those that are donating to the channel, either through the super chats, the stickers, or the PayPal link as well on the About page. Really appreciate everyone that's helping me out with that. Boss Colin, thank you very, very much. And oh wow, I believe that's the second time you've donated to the stream this evening. Wow, thank you so much for that. I'm now going to all leave you in peace. It's Friday tomorrow, so hopefully you'll all have a good day, start of the weekend, and I shall see you all again for the next stream very soon. Get subscribed, turn the notification bell on, and if you hadn't already, give the video a like as well. Thanks very much guys, great having you on board as always. I shall see you very, very soon. Good night.